no worries if your dog is barking or your baby's crying. Second, since we can't hear you, if you do have any questions during the webinar, please type them in the Q&A area, which you'll find at the bottom of your screen. You'll see there's also a chat button, but we are going to disable that during this webinar, so please only use the Q&A button, and we're going to try to answer as many of your questions as possible at the end of the webinar. Finally, this webinar is going to be recorded, so if you do miss anything or you want to listen again or have a friend that you think might benefit from the information, we're going to be sending you a link to the recording. Now, I would like to introduce our speaker for the night, Sherry Mraz, better known as Cooking Yogi. Sherry is a holistic health coach, a yoga instructor, a cooking instructor. She's also an author and speaker. Sherry is a graduate of the Institute of Integrative Nutrition and has served as a mentor on their staff since 2009. She's certified through Teachers College Columbia University and by the American Association of Drugless Practitioners, and she's also a member of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, besides just being an awesome person. I know Sherry has a wealth of information to share with you tonight, and I'm so excited to now turn it over to the Cooking Yogi.
Well, thank you, Barbara. You're a pretty awesome person yourself. One thing I do want to actually say is, sorry, I was trying to advance there. One thing I want to say is that none of this would ever be possible without an amazing team. Barb is first and foremost the most helpful person, and this never would have even come together without her help. Barb is a naturopath doctor, and just having that support. Everyone really needs a team. I also just want to mention that I have had some great support from some of my other colleagues, Karen Paddock, Lisa Kelly, Lori Kennedy, and Kathleen Legris. So if any of you have heard about this webinar from them, if you could just maybe mention it in the Q&A, Barb can keep track for me, because I would love to reach out to them and just thank them. It is, again, so important that you really become a part of a team. When I first started out, I really tried to go it alone, and it really makes for a very difficult time. So here you have this slide of these happy people cooking, and most everybody likes cooking classes. I'm going to assume that you're here because you love cooking classes. The problem with most cooking classes is that they're just not healthy. You're going to look at, you're watching TV and they're cooking the side of a pig's head or a baby goat. I certainly don't want to cook that at home. I don't want to eat it. So it's been my mission as the Cooking Yogi to get out and get in front of people and really share how to cook healthy, how to bring this into their home. So I want to thank you all for being here. Clearly you're here because you're also, I'm going to assume, on this mission to help others. So really tonight we're going to cover why this means something to you and what it can do for you, your why. I'm going to go really into marketing and promoting. I want to cover for you the key elements of a successful class. I will be giving you some really good tips on timing, getting it all done, how to pack without breaking your back, and how to have them super excited so that as they're leaving, they're going to want more of you, more of what you have. And I'm also going to go into what to avoid, the real no-nos that I had to learn the hard way. I also am going to ask that you hang out until the end of the webinar, because I am going to have a special bonus that will make it definitely worth your while to hang in there. So I really want to talk about your why. Maybe you're a health coach, or you went to school, you learned, but you know, maybe you just really aren't taking it to the next level. You want to, you know, maybe you've heard people saying to you, get a real job, or, you know, your ideas of things, you keep trying different things and maybe they're not panning out. So I'm super excited that you're here tonight, because I'm hoping that this webinar is really going to help you get clarity and know how to move your business to another level. So one of my friends I mentioned, Karen Paddock, she always talks about low-hanging fruit. So if this is a passion of yours, you know, this is something to grab onto and take and turn it into something. You know, the things you love, you want to turn into a career. So those are your money-making things. So clearly, you can add more clients. It's a perfect way to get in front of a lot more people. If you're just working on your own and trying to send out a little email or something here and there, it doesn't build you enough reach. So getting in front of a lot of people is a way to really, really get people excited about what you do. And you want to do what you love. You know, we've all heard the saying, do what you love, you never work another day in your life. So, but you can't just do what you love without having some kind of system, or you're not getting anywhere. You want to turn your passion into a career, and you want to know how to, there is some mastery here that you really have to be careful. Make more money. If your why is because, you know, you have the credit card debt, you have, maybe you want to help your family, you know, the husband, or maybe you're single, and, you know, just a way to really start to get some financial freedom and helping people. I'm pretty sure that's why we're all here. This is a like-minded group. I already know it, because if you came here, I know what you're about. And really and truly, it is a way for you to be able to use your special gifts and get in front of people. So maybe you're selling product even. And again, it doesn't have to be that you're trying to get clients, but you know, maybe you have another business, and this is a great way to be in front of a lot of people and move your product as well. So the thing about cooking classes is when you feed people, they love you for life. So let's talk about my why and why I'm here. So you see this picture of me here winning Best Plate. It was an event at the Palm Beach Equestrian Center. They have it every year, their Flavors of Wellington event. So I was invited to do it. This was huge for me. There was like 1,000 participants, and there was some big competition, even the breakers. So I was a nervous wreck, and I had to cook all this stuff. I did it by myself, which I did have a team. I won't say that. I did have a team who helped me present it, because it wouldn't have been possible to do that all by myself. But I did the majority of the prep by myself. And as you can see there, I won Best Plate. So that was huge. It was such a blessing, because I got tons of free publicity and I got my name out there. But at the same time, it was a little bit of a curse, because I started getting so busy and people asking me to do all these shows. I was at cafes, I was at stores, I was all over the place. And before I knew it, I was stretched so thin, and I didn't have a plan. I was, you know, trying different recipes and letting people tell me, oh, I'd like it if you do an Italian class or this class or that class. And because I didn't have a system, I started, if I wasn't breaking even, there was even nights where I actually lost money. So my feeling now, and why I'm here with you, and my why is I want to be able to take all those mistakes, my learning curve and share my system that now works. I am never stressed anymore when I go do a show because I have the system. So I go, I know exactly what to watch out for, and it's okay to say no. I say no sometimes. And so I turned my pain into a blessing. And, you know, I had someone tell me a long time ago, you can't unlearn what you learned, and that it's a moral obligation to share the things that you learned. So again, I want to be sharing with you, on a team with you. And I also have a huge passion for women. I mean, I went through my own struggle. I was a single mom for a lot of years and trying to make ends meet. And when you are in that place, you feel like no matter what you do, you just can't get anywhere. So it is really fulfilling for me to give tools to women that are in that situation. And I apologize if there's men on here. I am so not a man hater. I just feel really empowered by empowering women. So this work can be done by men, same. So yeah, that's really about turning a curse into a blessing. So, okay, as I said, I won an award. So what follows an award? You get a lot of free publicity. Tonight, I am going to share so many tips with you. Hopefully you take some notes. And free advertising. That's what you want to get. Now, you can pay for an ad. Clearly, there's ads in the papers, there are ads in magazines. You can pay. You can pay for Facebook ads, you know, Google ads. But truly, you're going to get your best advertising for free. So this newspaper clipping was from a class that I was doing. And you can see the writer's name here, Nadia Soroka. I reached out to the newspaper. I found out who the editor was, and it's a great practice to find out who all your editors are. Write a little list for yourself. Keep it, you know, in a file that whenever you do anything, you send them a note and you tell them, you know, I'm doing this show, I'm doing that. It's the newspaper's job to promote newsworthy activity in town. They're looking for things. They want to fill their paper. So what did I do? I invited Nadia. I said, hey, Nadia, I am doing this class next week, and I would love to have you as my guest. You're not going to pay, but if you like the class, I'd love it if you maybe could take a couple pictures, and maybe you can even write an article. And she came, she had so much fun. She was cooking. This was a hands-on class, and she loved it so much. This was a great article. And it was, there was a picture on the front page, but this was in like page, I don't know, 2 or 3. So it really was worth me giving her a free seat. So some of the other ways that you can promote yourself free are, you can write a press release. You can just say, oh, hey, you know, this is what I'm doing. I'm either teaching cooking classes, or my business has expanded to include cooking, whatever. You know, you want to write a little something up, and then you send it into the paper. And if they have space, they will print it. Don't get discouraged. You just keep sending it. They usually want about 3 weeks out for most of their news. The other thing you can do, which most people don't even realize, is if you want to promote something, you want to promote cooking class, go on Google and type in cooking classes in your area. What comes up? Is it schools? That's going to help you to see where you need to fill out some information on yourself. I went on and I saw Angie's List come up. So, oh, okay, joined Angie's List, put my information in there, and I got calls from it. There's another site that you're going to come across if you do the Google thing. It's going to be Thumbtack. And Thumbtack is a paid, it's not expensive, but Thumbtack does charge you. They give you like credits. And so I put my information in there, and I got a job from it. So, and most every job that you would get is going to be well worth your while, and we're going to get more into that as far as the finance part of it. But that's some of the things to get some really local press going. And make sure if you do anything on Google, you put in your local area. Don't just put cooking classes, because it can, go to Texas. I mean, if you're in Texas, that's great. But here, I'm in Florida. So I put in, Palm Beach County, and so that it keeps a local SEO going, search engine. So social media. Social media is a fantastic way to promote. Just say, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I have a class coming up in 2 weeks. You're going to fill the class just from social media. Emails, clearly, you're going to email everybody. If you have a newsletter service, you're going to send it out maybe a couple of times. Flyers. I think if you're going to have a flyer, you have to have a really beautiful, professionally done flyer. If it doesn't look professional, people just pass it by. So you want to be really, have something nice and pretty graphically, but it can really, really attract attention if you have the right flyers. Another great way to promote yourself is video, but truth be known, I'm not even a big fan of it myself. Here I am doing this, right? And I get in front of people all the time, but I just don't love doing the video. So, but if you love it, that's a great way to promote yourself. Maybe you do a little clip, you're cooking something in your kitchen, you put it on there. Anytime I've ever done like a 2-minute video of myself cooking something, oh my gosh, it like goes viral. People love it. Word of mouth. Word of mouth. It's old school, but wow, it really works. Just start inviting people. And how about the phone? Nobody thinks, we're so technology driven, nobody thinks of the phone. I can't tell you how many times I sent out some emails, and maybe I only heard from a couple people, but I had, 10 people tell me that they wanted to come to the next class. So rather than, and this is for everybody, rather than feel like, oh, nobody's interested, call them, and they will say, oh my gosh, that is so amazing that you went out of your way and called me. Thank you for reminding me. It was in my email, but it just got buried, and so I didn't pay any attention. I forgot about it. This just happens all the time. Lunch and learns. This is another fantastic way to get yourself out there. So corporations are looking to build wellness programs now. They get incentives, insurance incentives, and so they really, it's a really growing, popular thing now that almost every company is starting to build in a wellness program. So some of them, though, they don't really want to do the whole program, or maybe they don't want to do the whole program to start. So they're going to be a lot more inclined to letting you come and do a lunch and learn. So this was at a corporation. It was a construction company, actually, a big developer. They were down in Miami, and they had never had anything like that. But they had so much fun. And there was a bunch of guys in the class that they would never come to a cooking class, but they learned stuff. Most people will leave the class and go, wow, I can do that. And you're going to, if you're giving them a lot of good health tips, they're really, really so grateful for it. And so in a lunch and learn, you're going to charge, when you go out and do a cooking class, you have a different rate for no matter where you are. We can get more into that. But lunch and learns, it's corporate. So they're expecting to pay more money than your average class. So when I went and did this, I was there for an hour. That's the amount of class because they're lunch and learned. So you had to keep it short and sweet. And I charged them $250 plus they reimbursed me for the food. So that's for 1 hour. It's really standard. You know, you can charge more, a little less if you feel that they can't afford it if they start giving you that. But you start with that, and the more you do it, you're going to feel really confident in charging that. And I know people who charge a lot more, but this one was just, it was a first time thing with them, and so they just they didn't even bat an eyelash at that. Okay, so here's a flyer, and you can see this is really graphically pleasing to the eye, I would say. And that is going to, everything that I use, I have a designer do at this point. I didn't used to. I used to take forever to put my stuff together. I mean, hours. And here I was worrying about doing the class, but it would be hours of trying to do flyers, trying to do the recipes. So really important that you have something that looks polished and professional. So this one, we're going to talk about the key elements of a successful class. This one, if you look at the flyer, it says Nutrition for Busy People, Health and Wellness Workshop. So this is a great flyer for if you're doing something in a corporation. You know, you can do a workshop anywhere, it doesn't have to be, but clearly because it's titled Nutrition for Busy People, it's going to attract the busy professional. So just with a tweaking of your header or of your name, you're going to attract different people. Think about, you know, I've been a yoga teacher for 11 years, and that is such a classic thing that happens. People will come to a yoga class that's yoga for golf, or I mean, I'm off the food here now, but it's just a title. That class isn't really any different than yoga for athletes or a regular vinyasa class. Maybe you do a different pose or two, but it's the same thing with a cooking class. You know, it's in your title, and you don't have to overthink it. You can do, you know, again, here's Nutrition for Busy People. There's one flyer. I have another flyer that is just getting greens in your diet. So you choose the one according to which venue and where you're at. So engage your audience. You have to engage your audience, but you have to know your audience. Like I said, corporate, professional, busy people, you're going to just a little bit different. On this flyer, it says, have you ever walked past those wonderful displays of leafy greens in the produce section of your grocery store and wondered, gee, I wonder how you would cook that? Do you know how many people feel that way? So just having this one greens class really starts to demystify the preparation of greens. And they're not going to be so overwhelmed by it. Greens are the most missing ingredient in the standard American diet. We call it the SAD diet. And it is the most nutritious. So in this one, you see I have a bonus on cooking quinoa just to make it a really, really power-packed, complete, nutritionally balanced class with the protein. So, you know, you're meeting a need. You want to keep it simple. I'm giving you tons of tips, but really and truly, the more simple you make it, the less stressed you're going to be. When you're presenting, you know, you're making it fun, but you're kind of slipping in the education. You're giving them all these benefits. And when I say make it profitable, you have to have the balance. You know how much benefit to give them, and then to drive them to other programs. Every recipe that I promote is what's called a flexitarian. So they're really plant-based. They're loaded with nutritional value, but they're family-friendly, because you might get the people who say, oh, you know, yeah, I love greens, but like my family's not going to eat them. So most recipes that you're going to use in a cooking class, it's going to say, you know, you can add a protein here, so that it's like I said, family friendly. You want to keep it so it's not overwhelming, so that if you overdo a class, they're going to feel so overwhelmed that they're not going to feel like they can do it at home. You want to try to keep it simple so that they have the confidence that when they leave, they can recreate it. So really keep a class to 3 recipes, no more. You're going to do a little bit of 1 or 2 skills, maybe a knife skill, maybe talk about storage, and load the class with benefits. And while you're loading it with benefits, you want to be mentioning your work or your products. So, you're not just giving away all this information. You're saying, oh, the benefit of adding in this is XYZ, and I go more into that when I work with my clients, or my product is reinforces that, so that you're driving them to something else. Oh, here's our timer. So, timing. Every mom and chef know that that's one of the most difficult parts of getting food on the table at once. So before your class, you have to know your class. Is the class, and that really depends on the size. If there's, maybe 6 or 12 people, you can do a hands-on. After you get up to like 20 something plus people, you're probably not going to do a hands-on, not unless you have a great space that everybody has. I've done it, but maybe you have tables where they have groups and stuff. They work in groups. But you really want to make a determination before you go, whether it's a demo or a hands-on class. And prep. Prep is key. You don't see in a restaurant the chef in there just cutting everything all at once. Everything is prepared in advance. So you see here just a little picture of some samples of things that were already prepared. You, unless you have an assistant beforehand, but you're the sous chef also. So the more you have done in advance in containers, it's going to help you drastically. So you want to be really organized. If you hand out a recipe for each participant, that helps a lot because they're following along. I highly recommend you give out pens as well. They can bring their own pens, but I give them as a giveaway. And so if you have the recipe and they're taking notes, again, they're going to be more inclined to do it at home. I can't stress again enough, be organized and be clean. I have to tell you, I just, the other night, I went to this really fun event. It was a chef's cook-off. It was like going to a live chop taping. There was 4 chefs. They were competing against each other. And the one who won, I'm sure this isn't why he won. It was because it was a tasting, but it was fun to watch him. He had a sous chef, they all did, and one didn't, which was amazing, but he was slicing, they were doing everything so meticulously, and they had piles, and the thing that I noticed was in between everything they did, they wiped off their area. You got to remember these things because people are watching you. So there was one guy there, one of the chefs, he had his back turned also to the audience, which we don't do. If we're cooking it in front of people, try to strategically place your work area so that everyone can see really well what you're doing. And even if you have to invite them into the kitchen, for an hour and a half, they can stand. You just really want to have everyone have a clear view. But this one chef, he had his back turned to the audience and he was working and then turning and putting things out on the table as he was getting them done. I would do it the opposite way. But he was because you use a lot of rags when you're cooking. Bring a lot of rags with you. But he was taking the dirty rags and he was throwing them on the table. That was where the people were standing and watching. So, and I was taking pictures and I laughed when I saw the one picture. There was all of these dirty rags on the table and I thought, isn't that pretty interesting? So people are always watching you. If you're tasting something, use a different spoon than the one that you're stirring with. So really little things that you might not be thinking of. So again, the way to really get everything done at once is keep it simple and have mostly everything prepped. What you are looking to do is have only the amount done. You're gonna say you're gonna have all your things laid out, cut up in advance, but you still want to keep out maybe one onion, one apple, just enough to make one, maybe a small serving of a recipe, and so that you can go through it and show them, or just demo cutting, but then take the onion you have cut up. So you just demo a little bit of it, and then you throw in some already cut up stuff. It's going to save you a lot of time. Here I am cooking, cooking away at one of my shows. And what am I cooking in? I am cooking in a cast iron skillet. Love cast iron. However, you're not going to love cast iron carrying it to a show. So we're going to talk about packing. This would be a slide under the don't category. Oh, you could see one of my rags is there. But the audience is in front of me, so they're not seeing that. I have it hidden behind the pot. Cast iron. These are the mistakes I made. Cast iron, wood cutting boards, heavy. There's a cutting board on the other table back there. You could see it's a black cutting board. These are all heavy things. So I used to pack all of my supplies into great big bins. And then I would stack the bins, and I'd show up at my show with a dolly, lugging all this stuff. Let me tell you how tired I was before the class even started. You don't want to do that. You want to be a little more fresh when you get there. So you just want to try to tell them about cast iron. Love cast iron, like I said, for cooking. Maybe, you're telling them about nonstick, not to use Teflon, but to use, ceramic or stainless steel. You're telling them these things, but you're not bringing your heaviest equipment. I would never bring Teflon to a show. I don't own it. But you would bring your lighter pans or things that are not going to stick. Ceramic. Ceramic is the way I go. And then I have I don't use those wood cutting boards anymore. Too heavy. I have actually got them from Pampered Chef. They're the little plastic ones that you use for, if you have fish or chicken or vegetables, your different colored ones. But those thin plastic cutting boards, you can carry, 30 of them compared to one of those wooden cutting boards. It's going to really save you a lot. And if you're going to bring things in storage, your little cut up things, you want to bring them in some little plastic containers, but tell them that you don't use that at home, that you use BPA-free plastic or you use glass. I have all glass storage in my home. That's what I use. And that is a great tip for them. You're giving them the tip on storage, but that you aren't going to be using it tonight, and tell them why. I also, you're going to need some serving bowls. So I use plastic ones. I don't use glass. I used to bring, great big fancy glass bowls also. So, okay. So when you're packing, you're going to take your recipe and you're going to run through the recipe. So I use cooler bags. Again, I used to use bins. No more of that. So they have those really nice big cooler bags. So you have 3 recipes. You're going to have 3 cooler bags. You line them up. You go to the recipes and you say, okay, this has an onion. This has, the cilantro. This has my lettuce, whatever. You're going to take those ingredients and put them in that one bag. That recipe is packed. Except now go through the recipe again with any other kind of bag. I use just like the regular cloth shopping bags. And I actually have one great big bag that's really durable, that has pockets in it. And so that's where I pack the tools. If you are cooking something, you know, supposing you're making a great big salad. Well, you're going to need a cutting board. You're going to need a knife. You're going to need a bowl. So when you go through it, picture that you're walking through this recipe and you're making it yourself. So you just go, okay, yep, I'm cutting now. Now I'm going to do, you know, I'm going to stir it. Oh, I'm going to stir it. I'm going to need a spoon. So when you walk your mind through it, you pull those things aside and you start storing those in a separate, I have one great big bag that I use for my tools. And I also have, I have a little small plastic bin that I have collected tools that are my extra ones. I don't take everything out of my kitchen every time. My family doesn't, you know, come home and say, oh, she's doing a cooking class. There's no spoons. No, I have a separate set of utensils, and I keep them in there. This way, it's also great because you won't forget anything. So when you're cooking, I mentioned on the slide here, a propane cooktop. You can go to the restaurant supply store. They shouldn't cost you more than $40. Always buy yourself an extra can of propane. Never go to the show with one can of propane because, you know, Murphy's Law. So you have 2 cans of propane and you bring your cooktop. And as I mentioned, you're going to be using plastic. And okay, why do I say vitamin L? Vitamin L, you need to bring love. That is your most important ingredient. And for me, it's inspiration of some old utensils. I have a spoon from my Nana that it's so old that it's like sharp on the edges. It's a great all-purpose tool. It can cut, it can stir, it can do everything. But it inspires me. So, you know, you get to a show, you might be a little nervous. You want to have some of the tools that you're like, look at them, and like that wooden spoon. You look at it and you're like, ah, you just love it. So if you go to like a Goodwill, a thrift store, you might have some of these things that you love right at home. And, you know, I bring Nana spoon every time with me. I don't leave it in my toolkit. I just go and get it. But, you know, you want to maybe get some things, and it's really inexpensive to go to the Goodwill and just find some really pretty old silver or something, some things that really inspire you. You can put them in the dishwasher. You can run them through. I buy great big plastic bowls that are, I get them at the Goodwill. I mean, my people don't know this, but that's where I buy them. And they're so pretty. Some of them really look like cut glass. And I throw them in the dishwasher. When I get home, they're sterilized, and I'm good to go. So inspiration, you know, vitamin L. Why does something taste so much better when someone makes it? We always talk about this when I went to IIN. Why, when, you know, your grandmother makes something, did it taste so much better? Because she took all day and she really put some love in it. So we want to teach people that. Be inspired, and we want to be inspired when we get there. So just a tip about shopping as well. You want to shop smart. Sometimes, you know, you think, oh, I'm going to go to, you know, the warehouse and get these great big sizes, and then you end up spending more money. So you got to be really smart about the shopping. Sometimes you don't need to shop in bulk. It doesn't save you. So again, last tip on this, you want to make sure that you double check yourself twice. Go through that recipe twice. Make sure that you packed everything. And do it as you imagine yourself cooking it. Okay, leave them wanting more. Your guests are full, but they want more of you. So after you've, you know, given them the love and given them the tips, and they're feeling great and they love your recipes because you have great, amazing recipes and great food, you want people laughing. And a great way to do that is, you know, maybe getting them sharing, maybe asking some questions. I laugh at myself. I don't know if anybody else laughs, but I just think that's a great way to have camaraderie. You could think of something. If you can't, look it up in a joke book. Find one thing that makes somebody laugh. You want people involved. Again, ask people, what do you normally do? And maybe this tip will help you so that they're really feeling engaged. Giveaways. Okay. Giveaways to me are one of the best things that you can do ending your class. That is going to make them want more of you. You know, and I use gift bags. I have the gift bags. Oh my gosh, you can get 3 gift bags, 3 for $1 at the dollar store. I get these cute little, I always buy pink and black. You get what matches you. And so I have my little gift bags. I put a label on it. I get pretty little tissue paper. And in that bag, I will put giveaway things. I put in there some coupons. I put just any samples that I have. Now, here's a tip on how you can collect some samples. If you go to the chiropractor, if you go to a hair salon, if you teach yoga or go to yoga, ask them if they have anything that they would like you to give away for a promotion. It goes both ways. You're promoting them, and then leave your cards there. They're going to promote you. Cross promotion is a wonderful thing. It's going to help you to build up referral partner relationships. I have one girl, she's in my yoga class, and she does, I'm sorry, I don't even remember the name of it. It's like Jamboree or something. There are these nail decals you like glue on your nail. So I had told her that I give away gift bags in my class, so she brought me a whole stack of samples. I have a bin next to my desk that I throw all this stuff in. Now, when I'm giving a class, I do a lot of classes. So I'm not going to put all these, 10, things or tons of things in each bag. I make it really fun by throwing something different in each bag. It's sort of like a little treasure hunt at the end of class. They are, oh, what did you get? What did you get? And it costs me, I teach yoga. So I have a little class card that's 5 classes, free classes, by giving them that 5 class card. And so, somebody wins it. Oh my God, I won the yoga. And it is so much fun for them. And again, that didn't cost me anything. I have a cookbook that I wrote. And so, maybe I put a card in there. I don't do it at every class, depends. But maybe I put that in there. Oh, win a free cookbook. So winning things, people love to win things. And again, that's going to make them so excited and want more of what you have. And if you sell product, if you're a Juice Plus person or whatever your product is, make sure you're putting, samples in there or anything that's going to help drive them to want to come back. Oh, here we go. What to avoid. So here she is. She's in the kitchen having a great old time all by herself, rocking out, curlers in the hair. Clearly, I know you're not going to do that. That was a little humor. But you don't want to be known as a caterer. These are mistakes, as I told you, that I did. If you're a caterer, be known as a caterer. Use cooking classes to build your catering business. Absolutely. But if you're not a caterer, you don't want to be seen as the caterer. You don't want people to, because what does the caterer do? They come in, they drop off the food, and then they get the heck out of there. If you do that, no one's going to want to work with you. Again, you want them wanting more. So you want to be seen as the expert, as the presenter. You don't want to be seen as the line cook or, or the cleanup crew. You want to go in there. You want to have this presentation that you're clean, concise, you're talking benefits, and you're inviting them to your next thing. When I say don't give away the shop, you don't want to, like I'm giving away the shop here tonight, but why do you give away benefits? Why do you talk to people about and give them all this information? Because they're going to trust you, and then they're going to want to do something else with you. So, when I wrote there, stay out of chaos, this was my typical day before I went to a cooking class. Like I said, I had to shop it, I had to pack it, I had no system. Now I have a really organized checklist that helps me go back and know exactly, did I bring this, 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 this? I use the same checklist every time. I'm not going to forget anything. But that didn't come on day one. There was a big learning curve. And I spent hours taking my recipes and trying to get them to fit on one page and look nice and squeeze the logo on there. And I don't want any of you guys having to do that. So the more organized, the more confident you are, the more you're going to be able to move your next product, which means, you know, here you are, you're ending the class. You want to say things like, you know, I thank you for being here, and I want to offer you, you know, an invite to my 3-day detox, to my 6-week program. You know, if you're not a nutritionist, or you don't want to be building a practice and you just want to do cooking classes, because you can do cooking classes as a business. It can make you money. If you're just wanting to build a cooking class business, then maybe you say, here's a coupon for $25 off the next class. Here's something I learned way back when I was doing a multi-level thing, and I was trying to build my business. And this was really a great tip. We were trained, we used to take a gift, a wrapped gift, couldn't see what it was wrapped in a box, and we would bring it with us I would bring it to my shows. And I would say, so tonight, I'm gonna give this to the hostess, and I can only give it to her if I get 3 bookings. You know, you might want to adjust it. If there's 6 people there, maybe you don't want to do 3, maybe you want to do 2, but you are going to move your business forward by asking. You have to ask, and you have to direct people. You have to tell them what you're trying to drive them to. So now, in conclusion, I am hoping with all these tips, you're going to feel more confident. My goal is to have you look professional. I hired a designer, which I had said, who put it all together for me, because you can have the greatest message, and why does someone buy one person's product over another? It happens all the time. You don't want to be like this secret good information person that's not getting their message out there because you don't look polished. You really, really are going to attract people by your presentation. You want to be an expert. You need to know how to promote. I gave you tons of tips on that. You want to have tools that save you time. And then, as I said, you're going to drive them to your desired outcome. I know that the tips that, and this is something that you can say to your clients at the end of class. You know, I know that the tips I gave you in class are going to help you feel better. I also know that when I work with my clients, or they use my product, they see permanent changes. So I invite you to my next, you know, fill in the blank program, or a consultation, or to use this product. So again, in summation, you're always driving them to something. So how would it, what would it look like if you could hit the ground running? So I want to give you the tools. You only have to be yourself and deliver this in your style. My goal is to help you succeed doing healthy cooking classes, and the best part of this and why you're here is that I've done all the hard or dirty work for you. You can invest in yourself and get a system, or you can take the really long, painful way that I did. I started teaching cooking classes in 2007. So when I say this was a long, painful road, I am not kidding. So, and as I said, you don't need to be a nutritionist to look like an expert. You just need to have the right tools. maybe you're the person that everyone is always asking for advice. You know, this is an opportunity to turn it into a career. You can do it full-time, part-time, you choose. So getting to why we're here. So you can join this new cooking class club that I have created. It is a turnkey business. So I don't want you guys to buy another done for you class. This is a class that, as I said, took me years to perfect. It's going to be your signature class. We're going to start with one class at a time. Once a month, if you should take on this mission, which I hope you will, join me. Once a month, you're going to get a new class. It's a whole kit, completely polished. It comes with templates for your coaching outline. Your outline, it's actually not a template. Your coaching outline is step by step what you do, your timing. It is, you know, get them started on this recipe, like literally step by step what to do. And there's talking points in there. There's benefits, the benefit of ginger, the benefit of this. And the reason those talking points are going to help you, you're going to have a benefits handout, and you're going to have your own information. But when you get doing something, oh, wow, I forgot to say that. I forgot to say that. So at least if you follow this outline, you're going to be organized and you're not going to forget your main key points. You're going to have a flyer for a workshop, and also a flyer for like a generic class. And it says tips flyer, but it's really, it's just that flyer that I showed you for the workshop. And then there's one that has more of a generic, like getting greens in your diet. Social media brandable image. It's beautiful. It's done for you. You're going to just plug it on to your social media and then tell them the date. So you drive them to it. They're in this class, in every class that I do now, and I told you why, you're going to have 3 nutritionally packed and tested recipes. These are family friendly, tried and true recipes. And I hear it all the time. One of the recipes is a massaged kale salad. I hear it. I get messages on my social media. I get emails. Your massaged kale salad changed my life. I'm always like, really? That's all it took? But it is something that they don't really think about. They don't know that the proper way to prepare it, and they don't know how easy it is. You're going to get the benefits handout, which I said, and you're going to get support in a Facebook group, so you don't feel alone. I want to build a team here that everybody supports each other. We are like-minded people out doing the same mission. Contracts and formulas. I don't want anybody losing any money. You have to have a plug-in formula. How many people in the class? This is how much you're going to charge. You can adjust it demographically. We'll talk about that. But in all, you need to know how much you're going to spend on food compared to how much you're going to charge. Contracts, you know, it's different for each place. If you're going to a hostess, there's a different contract. If it's a corporation, different contract. And that is, you know, I have those put together, use them. I don't lose money ever anymore because I know how to use the contract and make sure that, and I get some of it in advance. And there's a whole system there, which I'll show you. So we're going to have a 1-hour monthly coaching call. So the way this is going to work, you're going to get, on the first of the month, you're going to get your entire kit. I call it a kit because you're going to have your handouts, your coaching tools, and you're going to have your promotional material. And then the first Monday night after you get your kit, depending on where that falls, the first of the month, each month you're going to get a new kit. So wherever that falls, that next Monday night, we're going to have a call, and you can pick my brain, ask me anything. I will just share, you become like my kids, and I am building you up, supporting you, moving you out the door. So this becomes a signature class. Like I said, you don't want to, go and you could try it, do what I did, go and do all different classes all over the place, but it becomes you get too thin. You want to get a class, you want to get known for it, master it. You can do it in your sleep. And then next month, you're going to get another class that's going to build your repertoire. Each month, you start getting like a database of classes, and you can then have people pick and choose. But if you try to do too much too soon, it gets ugly. So some of the bonus forms that I put in here, wow, these are really, that master checklist, I'll start with that. That is what I mentioned to you before. You won't be able to forget anything. You log everything on this one form, from the money, the recipes, the packing, everything. It's laid out, it all fits on this one, so it's your master checklist. You're going to have a survey that you hand out at the end of class, which will allow people to give you feedback. How did they feel about the recipes? How did they feel about your presentation? Because we're all big girls and boys, and we can take the critical, friendly criticism. It's going to help you. And, I even have on the survey, what other types of classes would you like to learn? You don't have to run out and do it, but you start to get an idea of what people are really looking for. And I've done this for a very long time, and I can tell you that one of the number one things is they want to get more vegetables in their diet, and they want to know how to do it. So the sign-in/roster, that is a form that I use, and I keep track. I keep it on a clipboard, so I'm running a class, and I start writing down who has RSVP'd on that roster. And if the hostess is keeping track of it, that's a different story. But if I'm keeping track of it, I log them all down, and I write their email, their contact information. And if I don't have that, maybe I just have their name. So when I go to the class, I bring that roster, and then I pass it around. Everybody check it off, add your email. How do I get in touch with you? So I can share some recipes and tips with you. Shopping list. That shopping list is laid out so that you don't lose track, again, of your expenses. So you keep track of what you have to buy and what maybe you already have that you're pulling out of your inventory. And there's a little formula on the bottom, so you come out with your net amount. Okay, so here we come to the end of the road here. So how much does all this cost? You have a opportunity to save $50 with this webinar special. And as I said to you, this is not another done for you that's going to sit in your computer or on your shelf. You're going to be engaged, invested. You're part of my team. We're all a team now. And the thing is, if you use this, and I'm going to give you the charging formula. One class, it should be 3 people, maybe give or take, that you make that back. You're going to make it back always in your first class. And if you don't make money doing this, then you don't look good, I don't look good. This is a two-way street. I'm here to support you. The thing about joining the club also is you're guaranteed a lifetime price lock-in. It is never going to go up for you. Next month, the class is going to be cooking on a budget, adding in grains, and with a gluten-free talk built into it. So another really, really good baseline class. So let's see. I didn't even mention this to Barbara at the beginning when we were setting up, but because you guys have hung in there till the end, and it isn't on here, this is going to get played back on the recording, but clearly there won't be any way for them to be the first 10 people. I decided, as I was sitting there in my meditation before I joined you all, that the first 10 people who join my team and get into this cooking class club, I am going to send you in the mail. All you have to do is, and I'll know from the first 2 people, I'll email you, you're one of the first 10 people, and I will, it's all first 10. I will get your physical address, and I am going to put in the mail to you my cookbook. It's a 12-week cookbook. It walks you through the menus, recipes, and the shopping list. So I said that backwards: your menu, your shopping list, and then your recipes for the week. 12 weeks, it's separate. It's a great tool for anyone to own. It retails for $25, $24.95, and I am going to give it to the first 10 people who are in the club. So the free coaching, I just want to add also, that is really, for that hour, that's really a $200 value. You're getting that free as well. So the way to order this and become a club member is to go to that link on the bottom, thecookingyogi.com/student-coaches/CCC/ we couldn't figure out, I'm sorry, I couldn't figure out in a quick amount of time how to shorten that. So I'm going to move this over to Barb and see if we have any questions.
Okay, well, that was great. Thank you so much, Sherry. There are a few questions, and I wanted to mention somebody had chimed in early on and said that the Q&A for participants happens to be in the upper left of the screen. Mine happens to be in the bottom. That's why I had said that. So if you weren't able to find your Q&A button earlier and you find it now, feel free to chime in with some questions. Okay, the first question I have here says, what happens if you can't cook, and do I have to book a venue to conduct classes?
So, okay, I'm not really 100% sure. I'm going to try to answer, and if I don't answer it right, just please type in, clarify. So you don't have to. No, you can do them in your home. When I first started teaching cooking classes, that's what I did. I used to do one a month. Because I was just starting out. This was in 2007. And I would hold one cooking class in my home. And if you don't really know how to cook, you're going to know how to cook after this, because you're going to follow the recipe step by step. And if you have any challenges, you can ask on the Facebook group, or when we're on our coaching call, I can help clear things up for you. But they're really, again, these are not like, 50 ingredients. We're not looking to complicate it, because by doing that, you're only going to scare off the people who you're trying to encourage them to eat healthy. You got to keep it, maybe they're not familiar with the ingredients, but the recipes should be really simple. So hopefully I answered that.
Okay. Next question is, how many classes do you suggest doing a month?
That again, it has to be an individual thing. If you did 2 classes a week, that is considered, a part-time job, and you can really make a pretty good, decent amount of extra money coming in by doing that. You have to feel comfortable. There was a time where I never, ever, ever, ever do more than one a day, ever. You will be so sorry. I did that. I went and did a presentation, demo style, at a gym, and then I went and did a full-on meal cooking class at night. So way too much. You want to just, again, it's individual. If you're really, because this is such a turnkey system, you really, really shouldn't get overwhelmed, because everything's there. You have everything laid out. It's just plug in the information and go. And so, you could do one every day. It's up to you.
Okay. Somebody's asking, is this program really 147 for each month and for how many months? Not sure if she understands it correctly.
So, okay, so right now, yes, it's 147 a month. I know for sure that, you know, right now on my website, it's 197. This is a webinar special. And as we get rolling, you know, this is a pilot, you know, you guys are the first ones to join, so I want to keep the price affordable for you. If it goes up to 247 in 2 months, then it's not going to go up for you. It's going to stay. It will just be you know, that's your price, and you don't need to worry about that. You're locked in. And if, you know, in 6 months, because every month I want to give you a good base line of classes. And so, you know, after 6 months or so, oh wow, I got enough classes. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to do it until, you know, the end of time, but I want to make sure that everybody has a really good baseline. You'll know if you don't want to get any new ones, but I think that you will want to when you see the value and what you're going to get with it. You know, the thing is, and I'll let you ask another question, Barb, but I just want to say that the thing that I've learned from, I'm a mentor for integrative nutrition, so I've worked with hundreds of students since 2009 I started. And the one thing that I say to people all the time, and even I run a mastermind group, even in there, it's like, you have to make a decision. If it's a hobby, it's a hobby. Hobbies are awesome. If it's a career, it's your career. If you want your hobby to become your career, you have to start treating it like a career. So you have to take it seriously. You're going to need some tools. You need to invest time in it. You need a team. You need support. That is the way people get to succeed. They invest in themselves, and then it starts to grow. But you just can't do a little here and a little there, and when you feel like it won't work.
Okay, and we have somebody asking if they're able to get the slides from this presentation, which I think they're going to get the slides with the recording, correct?
Yeah, we're sending out a recording. It may not be, hopefully it will be tomorrow, but if we don't get this recording done tomorrow, then it will be within the next 2 days that the recording will come. And so you'll not only get the slides, but you'll get to hear me with my long-winded examples.
Okay, I think that's it.
Okay, so, and I just want to add to, you know, there's a theory that you can wait on this in life, and when you're ready, you know, when I have more of this, or maybe you need a check, or you're never going to be ready. You have to jump in. I always say, drive a stake in the ground, get yourself started, and then you move it forward. So, and I want to be the one to help you with that. And I'm hoping from all that I shared with you tonight that you can see that this is my heart. This is my passion, and I want to be able to hold your hand and really help you. I'm the cooking yogi, but maybe you're going to be the cooking, you know, mom, or whatever it is, or it's just your name, but you want to get known and really start to really blow this out of the park. So I think we about covered the waterfront, as my Nana would say. So I don't hear you anymore, Barb.
I'm sorry, I muted so that you can talk.
Oh, okay, so.
I have one more quick question.
Oh yeah, go ahead, sure.
They're asking that the great examples, meaning a video of you cooking and an example of a dish. They're asking, I guess, that in the question. In other words, I guess you referred to examples, or are you referring to a video of you cooking and an example of a dish?
I don't, you know, honestly, as I said, I mean, we have a coaching call, you know, if that really comes into it, there's no reason why I can't turn on a camera and show everybody. But I think when you just walk yourself through the class, you're going to feel confident that, and we can do it either way. You know, definitely we can do the video. It's simple as heck for me to have you guys watching. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Well, Thank you so much, Sherry. This has really been great. I learned a lot myself.
And that's pretty awesome coming from Dr. Barbara. So I thank you, and I thank you all for being here and spending the evening with me. And yeah, and thank you, Barb, for your tremendous help and support. Thank you all so much. I'm going to turn off the record and see you. See you. Thank you, everybody.